With any software that is developed, the cost to remediate the impact of finding defects is much lower when identified earlier in the lifecycle rather than later. This is why it is highly advisable to perform some sort of static code analysis on any application code prior to deployment and runtime. Static code analysis for finding application security vulnerabilities is not a new concept. However, this concept also applies to code that defines cloud infrastructure or infrastructure as code. Infrastructure as code should be tested prior to deployment to ensure that it will do what it is intended to do, and also ensure that any potentially insecure configurations are identified early on. These insecure configurations should be treated as vulnerabilities and fixed prior to running. Many times organizations will check these configurations post-deployment. However, it is important to add this check during the development phase to ensure that vulnerabilities are investigated and remediated. When implementing infrastructure as code scanning in your DevOps pipeline, there are a few additional considerations to keep in mind. Scan code for operating system or VM and container image configuration, in addition to cloud or AWS configuration. Docker files, Ansible, Puppet, Chef should all ensure that configurations are in line with security standards that have been established by the organization. The code scan step may happen on check-in or prior to deploying, depending on the tool selected. For example, during a Terraform plan. If security-related violations are found, your process should be set up to notify the appropriate parties and halt the pipeline from progressing. There are many open source projects which allow you to construct security policies and then check Terraform or CloudFormation template code for any security-related configurations which are out of compliance with your security requirements as defined in the policies. In addition to open source options, many of the major commercial cloud security products offer infrastructure as code scanning as part of their product platform. Next, let's go ahead and walk through an example of using a framework called Open Policy Agent with an open source tool called Regula to check a Terraform template for compliance.